Guess who's back? Back again. Zippy's back with a friend. That's right, guys. I know you've been waiting and waiting and waiting for Project Zippy to be back. Now that we've got Hillbilly Garage 2.0 up and running, it's time to not only get Zippy back, get him finished up, we're gonna get Wounded Warrior finished up as well. Now, unbeknownst to you guys, I actually did some more work to Zippy way back before I started working on the turbo on Mighty Mouse. So I actually have a bunch of footage you guys have not seen of a couple things I did. Let's go ahead and catch you guys up to speed on where Project Zippy stands right now. So I have with me here today a very special guest in the Hillbilly Garage, a guest that you guys may know, someone of great prestige, and also someone that, although they've taken a licking time and again, they still keep right on ticking. And that, of course, I'm talking about is the one, the only, Zippy! That's right, we got my 86 Honda Fourtrax 200 SX finally back up in the Hillbilly Garage to do some more work on. Now, I had planned on doing a big reveal to let you guys know Project Zippy was coming back, you know, some majestic scenery of Zippy out in the wilderness or hurtling over some ginormous jump. However, if you guys remember the last time we were working on this, we did a full top end build. We were still leaking a little bit of oil, which there was a spot on the crank where you could see the previous owner or a previous owner sometime in its line of owners had just JB welded what I figured was probably a crack. So I didn't mess with it then. And when I went to get this ready to bring back up, I figured it probably had leaked oil. I took oil down, topped it off, started it up, which typical Honda, fired within a couple cranks. Once I remembered to turn the fuel on, and of course I got off to let it warm up, and I came back and poor little Zippy was just pouring out the oil as if it was just mugged and had a vicious stab wound in the gut. So I hurried up and brought her up here. She sat overnight, continued to spill all her oil. The kids' toys are kind of in the way, but here you can see where Zippy was sitting and the mess I had made. So I knew that over some course of it sitting after working on it, she had developed a lot bigger issue. And that's what we're going to look at today. I started to tear this apart. As you can see, I already got the pull cord recoil off, the chain guard off. And I started to chip away at the JB weld because what had happened was it had actually started to come loose. I was able to take a screwdriver and just pretty much pry it off. That's one of the reasons why it was leaking. And lo and behold, if you guys didn't catch it in that glimpse right there, they pretty much cut a big rectangle out of it. And that is what was JB welded. Here's the plug. By the looks of it, they used electrical tape or something. No, I take that back. That's a piece of plastic. So they had used a piece of plastic here and had kind of plugged the hole with plastic like that. And then JB welded the crap out of it, kind of seal it up. So it is no wonder that we were losing all of our oil. I mean, not a substantial plug for a crankcase cover to be plugged with. So this is going bye-bye. And there's also, I know it's dark, you're not going to be able to see it even if I have light, but I think this right in here is where our neutral safety switch is, which is in pieces. That's loose and wiggling. Again, I don't know if you guys can see that. So that's probably why our neutral light's no longer working, and I had to bypass that when we were done with the rebuild to get the start. The down part is as soon as I saw that, I went online to try to find replacements, and these replacement crankcase covers for this side are pretty much non-existent. I found one used one on eBay. They still wanted almost 400 bucks for just that, which is more than what this buggy would be worth right now. Even in mint condition, these things will only go for like 800 bucks. So I am not paying almost $400 just for this piece. But I'm thinking this is aluminum. I should be able to put and plate this well enough to seal it up. And then I'll have to worry about getting it sealed right here where the crankcase cover actually meets this side of the crank. Because it looks like when they cut this out, they probably just use a little grinder and dug into that a little bit as well. But I guess first thing we need to do is get this guy off. Well, it was as I suspected. Once I got the crankcase cover off here, we see now that our neutral safety switch here, it is shattered. Upon further investigation, I got dug into this more. I noticed here, you guys can see this is cracked here too. I started to peel away this JB weld here, which really is not holding anymore. And this is broke here too. So I'm pretty much gonna have no choice. If we want to get this running again, I'm gonna have to get a whole new cover for this. So now comes the tedious work of searching the old interwebs to see what I can find. Hopefully I'll be able to find something. Well, I had an incredible stroke of luck because I happened to find exactly what I needed for Zippy on good old eBay. Say what you want, but you can find what you need there. And I was able to find a complete crankcase cover that is not damaged and at a decent price. There was a couple on here, but most were like over 300 bucks. I got this puppy at what I think is a steal for around 170 bucks. She is in mint condition, as you can see. She is not broke or cracked like our stock one. And you remember how I said that you could not find the neutral safety switches anymore? That is true. However, I was able to find a used stator out of an 86 Fourtrax that came complete with our neutral safety switch. So as you can see, I can separate this because I think the stator from Zippy does look to be in a little better shape than this one. So we'll have this guy for a spare. We'll reuse the stator out of Zippy. First thing I got to do though is clean up the old gasket. It came shipped complete with old gasket. So we're going to get this guy all cleaned up and ready to go. Clean up our gasket material here on the case itself that's still left on here. And we'll throw Zippy back together. These are just have finger tight. Keep track where everything went. Now our new neutral safety switch. We're going to move on and do a little something about this mess of wire here. Now, I do believe these handlebar switches came off like an early 90s Fourtrax. But something that's pretty neat is even though this is off a newer Honda, the colors are the same. So this should be a pretty straightforward wire job. Now one thing, however, as you can see, the old wiring harnesses in the back here, the ones for the headlights are short compared to the ones that are long, because on the newer Hondas, of course, instead of the light being up here, they'd be down here in the front. But the problem we're going to run into is our main wires here are short compared to the wires from Zippy, because they got to run from the handlebars the whole way down into here. But since I got to switch these plugs out anyway, what I'm going to do is simply cut this wiring harness back here and then cut this plug off, and then we'll just splice these wires in here and we'll be able to use Zippy's factory plugs. So in order to do that, I'm going to take these one, and through a feat of magic, oh, just like that, she's all connected together. Now you guys can see I just do some quick connects here just in case these won't match up and don't work. We can swap them out pretty easy, although I did forget to do this one. Whoops. Uh-oh. But anyway, I'll go ahead and get that one cinched up there, and we'll throw it on here and see if it'll work. I think it's gonna work. All right, we got the switch all hooked up. It fits actually rather nicely in there. Whether it works or not, I don't know. We're about to find out. Choke on, fuel's on, keys on. Hey, the neutral light came on. That means our neutral safety switch is good. Let's see. Question is all the wires in this the correct way? There's really no way of knowing. She'll either start or she won't. Okay, something is backwards, because my neutral safety switch light went off whenever I turned the headlight switch on. I turned that off, and that no longer lights up. So, we'll have to probably mess around with them wires. So even though the colors are the same, they're not matching up what the other ones were. So, we are going to have to play around with this a little bit and find the right combination. Well, I kind of feel rather foolish, because turns out my wiring on the switch was right. I broke out the old climber manual, went over wire by wire. Everything was turned on, so I got to look in here. We have our neutral safety switch here, which is hooked up right, but these other wires that come out that go to our stator and stuff, I had wires backwards in here. So hopefully now we got the wire straightened up. I do have the a battery charger on it. This battery shot, it's not going to charge. But one thing I did do is I checked, and check this out, guys. Working headlight, high beam and low beam. High, low, switch is working, and the battery, you can hear it trying to kick on the starter, but there isn't enough juice. Okay, fuel is on, choke is on, key is on, decompression, I don't know, but we'll see. What's going on here?
Oh, we don't know. Why, Donna?
And that's pretty much where she's been since that last shot. I got started on Mighty Mouse and didn't want to put that footage up and leave you guys hanging, not knowing what's going on. So now that Mighty Mouse is buttoned up for time being, we're in the test and tune phase. We're going to start getting Zippy back together here. Again, still not running, no spark. One thing I did do, I thought maybe it was that switch because it wasn't the correct switch. The wiring was backwards. I thought maybe the kill switch wiring is backwards. So through a lot of patience and a little time passing, I was able to find a used control switch for the handlebars on eBay. The correct one for an 86 Honda Fourtrax. Got it all wired up. She works. We can even actually use the starter button. But as you guys hear, still no go with starting. We still have an actual working headlight. So everything's working, but for some reason we are not getting spark. So I don't know if when I replaced this crankcase cover, if I pinched a wire or something on the stator. We do have another stator we can put back in, so I think come next video, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and take this apart, throw the udder. It's not a cow, it's a four-wheeler. We're gonna throw that other stator back in here and see if we get spark, check all the wiring. So that is where Zippy stands. I did order some new tires for the girl. It's on their way, so we'll be able to put some fresh rubbers on here. So when we do get this running, we will be able to take her out riding. And unfortunately, it's looking like I'm gonna have to just buckle down, spend the moolah, and get the Meyer remanufactured plastics for this, because in all this time, I have not found a good set of used plastics that's in better shape than the one I got. But it is what it is. My wife actually is eyeballing this guy up to ride, especially since I'm got the hanker in and plan on buying another four-wheeler, a four-wheel drive one this time. She's talking about then being able to run little Zippy around. Again, I'm going to keep this buggy for a long time, so I'm going to spend some money on it. Warrior, I don't know. I get it fixed up. She may go on the old selling block for a nice chunk of change for a new four-wheeler. Nothing really needs done to Wounded Warrior except my front brakes kept sticking and seizing on. So I got a new brake reservoir coming for it. I got new handlebars. My rear brakes still don't work, so I got a new brake reservoir and another little better brand caliper for the rear of that. And some slick new handlebars, because these are the old bars off of Zippy, which are shot, they're bent, they look awful. And while we have Wounded Warrior in here, we're gonna go ahead and tear the top end down and do a top end rebuild, because the last video you guys saw way back when of this guy running and running good, she was putting out quite a bit of smoke. So I'm sure the piston rings are shot. So we're gonna tear into it and see what it needs for a top end rebuild and do that while we have it here. And then come nice weather, we should have a couple good four-wheelers ready to rip and tear. See if we can't get spark back, throw some new tires on here. I still have to fix this rear brake because on the new frame, it is not moving at all. You see how tough it is? So I think I just need to take this back off, clean that up a little bit so she glides nicely. I have new brake pads coming front and rear. That's pretty much it for Zippy. If we can figure out why she has no spark now all of a sudden, we'll be good to go. Especially when she drove up into the carport. Now, once she's all back together, she has no spark. So it has to be something simple, something easy. I just got to find out what it is. So guys, I hope you're excited for all that's coming. We're starting off 2021 with a bang, getting some projects done, and then we'll be able to have a lot of good riding content in the future and some good projects in the future as well. Who knows what lies ahead and what we may pick up. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. All the encouraging words you guys give. I love getting on and reading my comments and saying, well, I helped you guys with this or that. I helped you install something on your buggy, on your P5. I especially love it when I get on there and see that I'm the reason you guys bought a P5. The videos I put out showed you what an awesome machine they are and gave you the confidence to go and buy one. And hopefully this year, we'll get over all the restrictions we have on getting together for meet and greets. And I'll be able to get out and ride with you guys and enjoy our machines a lot more than we were last year. Again, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on riding.